let's see. So the first speaker of this session is Herminso Villarraga-Gómez from SAIS. He will be presenting workflows for assessing electronic devices with 3D X-ray microscopy and nanoscale computed tomography. The floor is yours.
Thank you for the kind introduction. So yes, I am Herminso Gómez with SAIS, and I'm here to talk about some unique workflows for assessing electronic devices with 3D X-ray microscopy and nanoscale tomography. And I'd like to start this presentation with a slide that represents the history of X-rays from medical imaging to non-destructive evaluation. Since the invention of X-ray CT and its adoption by the non-destructive evaluation community, several applications, the number of applications has been growing, including the inspection of electronic components, medical devices, and as you hear from this morning, the control of dimensional measurements. And I would like to make a distinction between several types, at least 2 or 3 types of ways of doing 3D computed tomography. One is the classical way, X-ray micro-CT, in which you have an X-ray source and a detector, and then a place where you put the sample. Those systems are limited in terms of resolution by geometric magnification, which is going to be determined by the sample size. Basically, how close you can put the sample to the X-ray source. And even if you cut a little portion of the sample and you put it really, really close to the source, you're going to have limitations in terms of resolution given the geometry that you are using. Most manufacturers will tell you that they can achieve resolutions in the order of 4 or 2 micron boxing size. But the reality is when the sample is larger, that limitation goes to something in the 10, 20 micrometers or even 50 micrometers, depending, again, of the sample size. There are other types of systems which are called X-ray microscopes because they include a set of different lenses that will add optical magnification on top of the geometrical magnification. And it's this that will enable the system to achieve higher resolution and without destroying or putting the sample, doing something that we call resolution at a distance, because by switching to different lenses you can zoom in a specific area and increase the magnification. And there is a more clear explanation in this video. If you imagine that you have an apple and you want to scan the seed of the apple with a macro-CT that uses a flat panel detector, as soon as the apple is very close to the X-ray source, you don't want to hit the source, then that's your limitation. And then, if we do now use an X-ray microscope in which you use some type of lenses to add optical magnifications, then you have the ability to zoom into the seed at a higher resolution without destroying the apple. In micro-CT, if you want to scan the seed at a higher resolution, you will have to cut open the apple, take the seed, and scan it. This is not a problem here because of the optical magnification ability and the resolution at a distance. And I give you now, let me see if this runs. Nope, let's try one more time. Okay, now it's running. The scan of a typical device like a smartphone, in which you could scan, of course, the full device with a flat panel detector, and then use the zoom lenses to get a higher resolution of a smaller field of view, in this case, the microprocessor. And if you want a higher resolution and a small portion of that circuit board, you could do it and see perfectly clear if there are any kind of voids, porosity in the BGAs, or any defects in the vias that connect the different layers of this PCB. If you want to scan another region of interest of this device, like the camera lens, then you can do it, and you can check for all kind of assembly, or even do some type of dimensional measurements, which manufacturers of these camera devices will be interested in to increase the image quality or for doing quality control. And another topic that is very common nowadays is the inspection of batteries, which we can also do in this device and check what is happening in the inside of the battery after several cycles of charging and discharging the battery. You see all kind of things happening there, the lamination, degradation of the microstructure, morphology of the particles after several cycles of charging and discharging. Here is a summary of the typical workflow from radiographic projections to 3D CT data, and you already know this process pretty well. The only difference here is that we are inserting the optical magnification. Now I have a question for you. Why do we need X-ray imaging? If circuit boards, sometimes people say, well, I can do inspection with 2D radiography and just see what is going on. So is 2D radiography enough? Okay, let me ask this other question. What do you think you see there? What the image shown in the screen is of? Is it a hand? Okay, let's take a look. It's a rabbit. Or a bunny trying to be funny. So the 2D approach can be misleading sometimes. And this is pretty common in the inspection of circuit boards. The problem is that you have a radiograph in which everything is superposed. Everything that is in the back and in the front, and you might have some clues, as you can see in this image over here, that there might be some sort of porosity, but you are not pretty sure. And you won't be totally sure until you get a real CT scan, which you can take a slice and really see what's going on. And this is how you will scan PCBs or circuit boards to see any kind of solder bond voids, micro bond voids, fatigue cracks, cold joints, hair and pillow, maybe traces of electromigration, and some broken vias, and trace of cracks or cracks in the silicon layers. Now, it is true that when you scan with an X-ray microscope, the scanning time can be long. But there is a way to speed up the process nowadays if you use deep learning. And the proposal here is, okay, use what people would like to do is to scan faster. And one way to do it is collect less projections. But we all know what happens when you put the projections in the standard reconstruction and you do the FDK reconstruction. You will have aliasing or undersampling, basically. So typically you need in the order of 1,000 projections or more. What if you could do a training algorithm, deep learning, with less projections based on high resolution data that you acquire, and then do a model training that you apply to subsequent circuit boards? This could speed the process, and we have done that with a deep recon, size deep recon probe that can give us faster results, as you can see in the image on the right. Well, that's my left, that's your right. Okay. The other problem that you might have with circuit boards is they are flat samples, and they can be challenging for CT. They can be challenging because when the X-rays go through this direction, they see a longer path than when they go here. And they cause all kind of artifacts and problems. But there is also a way to deal with that, which we call high aspect ratio tomography, or HART. And the way that operates is illustrated in this plot. You basically collect more projections along the longer path than in the thinner section of the part. And doing that, you can also even reduce the scanning time. And you see what's happening when you have the standard way of doing the scanning, no HART, and you have a lot of artifacts, and you reduce the artifacts and even speed the scan time when you do this type of algorithm. Oh, well, acquisition time. It's not an algorithm, it's just an acquisition way of doing it. When you do this into real samples from PCBs, these are the results. Non-hard 1 hour, hard 1 hour, but even if you cut the projection and you go to 30 minutes, you get better. So yes, this is a way to improve. And that's how you could scan PCBs that are going to a smartwatch also. There is another challenge than when you are scanning circuit boards, and then you have a large field of view. And if you want a high resolution scan, then maybe you can do it in a corner or in the center, but we know it's going to take some time. And if you want the full circuit board at high resolution, then you have to do a bunch of high resolution scans, and that's going to multiply. And that's illustrated here when you try to zoom into this with high resolution scan. The solution that we propose is again with deep learning. And the idea here is, okay, take a zoom scan of a section of the board and use a training algorithm, we call it deep scout, and then extract the features from a lower resolution scan. So you only need two scans, one high resolution, the low resolution scan, and apply the deep scout. And you get the same quality of similar quality of data, as you can see here, from a low resolution scan, a high resolution scan, then you do the training, and then you can extend to the full field of view of the circuit board. And this, of course, is going to speed up. This was generated in 1.6 hours, and the high resolution will take around 2.5, so it's in the order of 3 or 4 hours, while if you try to do the full circuit board with high resolution scans, it will take you in the order of 60 or more hours. The workflows that I illustrated also benefit from some new innovations that we have created for our standard X3D Versa with a new product we just released recently, in which we create an augmented reality kind of a system that will create awareness to where to put the sample. So the sample does get the optimal position without hitting the source. But not only that, it also will give you the user some options on the scanning parameters. It tells the user what the scanning parameters will be. If the user wants to scan time, the user could use this curve. If the user wants to optimize for resolution, it could use this one. And if you want to do both at the same time, then the intersection of the two will be a position in which the system will tell the user the parameters that need to be used for doing this type of scan. And that's how, with the integration of Navix, we can collect several volumes. We can collect a large field of view and then go with the 0.4x lens next to the 4x lens for high magnification, and all the way down to 40x to get a resolution in the order of 500 nanometers. And I'm speaking here of not only voxel size but a spatial resolution with a new detector which we recently created that is going to change the way users typically do the scans. The typical current state of art is that when you get the highest resolution on 500 nanometers with typical detectors, but as soon as that's for a low kV, as soon as you start increasing the kV, then the resolution actually decreases and it's more in the order of 1 micrometer or so. With this new detector, which we designed, now we can increase the power and get same kind of level of resolution with the curve that you see right here, even at 160 kV. And this is really good for the inspection of circuit boards because the high density materials that you might have inside. So you might need to use all the way to 150 or 160 kV without losing on resolution. And this is an example. This is what it was before when we used the previous generation 620 Versa, and you go to the 40x, you see how you lose resolution at some point. But you recover that, and let me see if I can you recover that all in this image, as compared to what you will have over here. If you are still not satisfied with 500 nanometers spatial resolution, there are other ways to push down or increase the resolution down to even 50 nanometers with other types of 3D X-ray microscopes as the Ultra, which are Fresnel zone plates and other optical X-ray elements. And yes, this is great, and you can see the images. In this case, you definitely need to prepare the sample, you need a very small portion of the sample, but then this is not without challenges. The scan times can still be long due to the limitation of brightness of the X-ray source, and image quality still can be compromised, possible by noise or motion artifacts. But again, what if we use deep learning? And if we use the algorithms that we have already created, Deep Recon Pro, you can see what you could do if you implement Deep Recon Pro in the ultra data and cut the projections from 1,250, thank you, to increase the image quality and reduce the scan time. Let me try to summarize here. You have workflows in which you could use non-destructive imaging, from using 3D X-ray microscope to nanoscale 3D X-ray microscopes, when you actually separate the feature of the circuit board and you do the scanning to see a higher resolution. And even if you need higher resolution, which you know you will have to use an SEM, then you can cut the sample. But that's after you actually isolate the feature that has the defect, and you could do other types of investigations with a destructive method as illustrated here, in which you can see how you go from 3D X-ray to an SEM image. Let me try to summarize here. So what I have presented to you today is a new failure analysis tool set that any person that is doing circuit boards inspection or electronic devices could do, which include computed tomography, the classical computed tomography, 3D X-ray microscopy, resolution at a distance, high aspect ratio tomography, deep recon, deep scan, a new navigation system, Navix, a new 4X objective that gives you resolution at high TVs, high resolution at high TVs, nanoscale tomography if you want to keep going down or increasing the resolution, and some correlative workflows that include destructive methods. And with this, I will be happy to take any questions you might have.
Questions?
Good morning. Nice presentation with a lot of examples. Because you spoke about electronic devices, regarding this kind of scans, how long roughly it is, and what about the risk to kill the cards, to kill the electronics with the X-rays?
Yeah, so the scan times I already illustrated some of them. If you use the classical algorithms, which imply that you need more than 1,000 projections or 2,000, you can easily spend a couple of 3 hours in getting a small section. If you want to do the high resolution, you can even go to 10 hours or more. It's not surprising to see sometimes people reporting 20 hours timeless scan, which is a lot, and manufacturers cannot afford that. The way to reduce that is with deep learning, which I did illustrated here. Yes, there is a time that the user is going to spend creating the training algorithm. It's in the order of a couple of hours or so. But once the user has that algorithm, it could apply to other samples of similar type of sample. And should be speed up the process. The second question is about what if you kill the device with the X-rays. That could happen if you increase the power or scan too many times the device. So from my personal experience, I haven't seen too much of a damage when a typical device is still functioning if you use below 160. If you go over 225, then it would be more of a problem. There are specific details, and I can refer you to a paper which I explain a little bit because it's a little more complicated in what is happening inside with the X-ray. It can create some transitions that break some of the connections.
Okay, well, we have to move on. Maybe a short second question.
Yeah, question about your AI zoom method. I understood you make a low resolution scan of the whole part and a high high resolution scan of just one section.
Yep.
And then you apply your AI method to make a high resolution reconstruction of the whole part.
Yes.
Let's imagine you have a defect which is not detected, which is not in the data because of the low resolution. How can your AI method retrieve the error if there is no signal in the data?
The signal has to be there. It has to be there even if it is in low resolution, and when you are going to get to the user is a high resolution data after you apply the training, so increase the confidence. So initially you see something that is really blurry, but you're not sure. I mean, the user sees something that is kind of a speck of dust there, and is that a void or is, how can I know? The only option we will have is to do a high resolution. If the user knows where the defect is, when the user doesn't know and it's to apply to the full circuit board, then using this method will increase the ability to detect those defects.
Okay, thanks for the